Hi everybody, TJ Mack of Vintage Cards and Nostalgia here. A few weeks ago I showed this beautiful 1971 Topps card of Vada Pinson, pictured here in Yankee Stadium, as he rises up to look at the umpire after a close play at the plate. You have Thurman Munson next to him, sprawled out on his stomach, with his head turned as the dust on the battlefield begins to settle. Was he safe or out? A card that captures the imagination. Well, today I want to show you another beautiful photo of Vada. Once again, he is at the plate, but this time with a bat clenched in his hands and what looks like to be a wide lens shot in Yankee Stadium. An early version of what you might see in a Topps Stadium Club card 16 years later. The one-time superstar who put together Hall of Fame caliber seasons with the Reds is now an aging veteran coming off a 1973 season where he batted an unspectacular .260 with only 8 home runs and 57 RBIs. The years of wear and tear on his legs have robbed him of his speed and his power. However, on this day, it appears he has drank from the proverbial fountain of youth, as he is shown here finishing his swing as he gazes off into the distance, admiring his handiwork. You see his teammates in the dugout looking on. Maybe the one second to the left is Frank Robinson. Who knows? However, this is Vada's moment in time. You even have Thurman Munson, his nemesis from the 1971 Topps card, in the photo to witness this moment of glory. But wait, what is that in Thurman's mitt? Yes, it is the baseball. Strike! I'm not sure why Topps would use such a majestic-looking photo to show its main subject whiffing at a pitch, but they were known to do that from time to time in the early to mid-70s. Maybe it was a way of keeping the players humble. It's a card, though, with a story, and that's one of the cards that I just love having in my collection. We are now in YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame voting season, and I plan to get my ballot out in the next couple of days. While I know the Hall of Fame can be a bit of a hot-button issue within the community, and I respect those that choose not to participate. But to me, it's meant in good fun and to show appreciation to the people behind the channels you enjoy by giving them a little recognition. I've received many new subscribers due to other content creators shouting my channel out, and I'm grateful to them for that. It's nice to hear that those that make videos themselves appreciate what you do. And for those of you that are new subscribers, I want to welcome you to my channel. The name of it says it all. I love vintage cards and nostalgia. I've been collecting cards since 1979. And I stopped collecting in the early 90s, as most teenagers do, and then returned in 1998 and have been doing it ever since. Now I'm 49 years old, married with 4 kids, ages 11 to 18. And I collect vintage-graded baseball, football, and hockey cards from the 1930s to 1989, as well as some magazines. And my channel's mostly about my connection to sports, as reflected in the cards and magazines that I do collect. While my collection has monetary value, like most people's does, it's priceless to me, though, in that it evokes memories, celebrates pop culture, and connects me to the past. But most importantly, it's a nostalgic journey. Not just my own, but that of my father, my father-in-law, and my grandfather. Their nostalgia is my nostalgia, and I want to be surrounded by that in the items that I acquire. The story that I open with on Vada Pinson is how I see cards. They're not static pictures on a piece of cardboard, but rather the cards I acquire activate my imagination by resurrecting the past. Now, I recently picked up this 1960 Parkhurst Doug Harvey, and this card just fits right in with my 2 other 1960 Montreal Canadiens of Maurice Rocket Richard and Jean Beliveau. These players represent one of the game's greatest dynasties, as they won 5 straight Stanley Cups from 1956 to 1960. And when I see these cards, I am instantly transported in time back to the Montreal Forum, where Harvey, the game's greatest defenseman, the Rocket its greatest scorer, and Beliveau its most graceful skater, ruled the ice. They all appeared together one last time in this set as a farewell to one of sport's greatest runs of championship success. I see this 1956 magazine picturing a 19-year-old Mickey Mantle that was taken in 1951. I know this because of the American League Golden Anniversary patch on his arm. The headline reads, "Why it is now or never for Mickey Mantle." It's interesting they chose a boyish photo of Mantle taken 5 years earlier to put on his cover, while in the background it appears to be an older, more muscular Mantle finishing his swing. Now, I believe the youthful photo was shown in the foreground to represent the hope and promise that Mantle embodies, and the background reflects what he's expected to transition into, the game's greatest star. Of course, we know that Mantle silenced many of his critics in 1956 by winning the Major League Triple Crown and taking a huge step towards becoming a baseball deity. Now, the magazine paired with my 1956 Topps card brings this season to life in my mind. I can picture the Mick in Yankee Stadium on a warm summer day, hitting tape measure shots as the crowd roars in approval. Cards are also a way to learn and document history in my collection. Several months ago, I was able to acquire this beautiful 1975 Topps first card of Rams quarterback James Harris to go along with a sport magazine I have from the same year, and I'll show that in a moment. The first aspect of this card that I'm drawn to are the white, gold, and blue of the Rams uniform, as Harris is in the heat of battle. It appears that he's rolling out as right guard Joe Scabelli does his best to hold off an oncoming defender. You have the crowd blurred out, allowing the game action to take center stage. A beautiful photo that is complemented by a Topps design that accentuates the sport. More than that, this card reflects an important moment in history. Now, James Harris was not the first black man to play quarterback, but he was the first to regularly start as one for an NFL team. Harris, who was originally drafted in the 8th round by the Buffalo Bills, became the first black quarterback to start a season opener in 1969. Interestingly, Marlon Briscoe, the first black quarterback to start a game in the modern era for the Broncos in 1968, was playing wide receiver that day for the Bills and got a few of Harris's passes. Harris was waived by the Bills after a few years and looked to be out of football for good when the LA Rams signed him in 1973. Well, 5 games into the 1974 season, the Rams' offense was struggling under quarterback John Hadle, the 1973 MVP, and Coach Chuck Knox put Harris in, and he ended up getting off to a pretty hot start, and the team finished 7-2 down the stretch, leading the Rams to the NFC West title and a playoff win over the Redskins. They ended up losing to the Vikings in the championship game. Now, Harris became the first black quarterback to start and win a playoff game. Now, the Sport magazine is interesting because of the caption, "Will James Harris be the first blank with an asterisk to play quarterback in the Super Bowl?" Of course, the blank is reserved for black. For James, it was not meant to be, though, as Doug Williams would become the first black quarterback to play in the Super Bowl in 1988. Now, after leading the Rams to an 11-2 record in 1975, James began to suffer injuries to his shoulder and struggled to stay in the lineup. It was also said that Rams management was bringing in other quarterbacks to unseat him in spite of the support of Chuck Knox. I will say that in the article, Rams owner Carol Rosenblum had nothing but good things to say about Harris, but unfortunately it sounds like afterwards they wanted him out. Harris was traded to the Chargers in 1977, where he quietly retired in 1981. I love owning and displaying cards like this, as they are reflections of history and tell the story of the game, that I've been a fan of since I was 4 years old. Now, the hobby's many things, some good, some bad, but for me, it is at its best when the cards we acquire and hold on to in our collection also have a hold on us. Now, my channel's not for everyone, and that's okay. I'm not offended. But if you want to see cards maybe in a little different way than you looked at them before, to learn about players beyond just the game's biggest names, and to be part of this collector's journey as he adds cards that create a connection that transcends time by strengthening the bond between my family, by forging the past with the future, then I look forward to having you along for the ride. Until next time, take care.